Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free. Bless all the paths our feet walk to be free.
So in Ethiopia, there was a woman who married a widower and he had a son. And she was so happy to move in with her husband because she always had wanted children. But the child refused her affection. And he kept saying to her, "You're not my real mom." He refused to eat her cooking. He refused to he turned away from any kindness that she offered him. And after a time, the grieving woman decided to seek out the wisdom of the hermit on the mountain. And she went to him and she said, "Make me a potion, please. Make me a potion that will help my stepson love me as much as I love him." And so the hermit said, "Yeah, I can make a potion like that. But the ingredients are very difficult to get. You must bring me the whisker of a living lion." So the woman went away, of course, completely distressed, but determined not to give up. And that night, after her family went to sleep, she snuck out of the village and she went to the edge of the desert with a bowl of meat. And she knew that the lion lived somewhere near this pile of rocks over here. So she walked under the night sky as close as she dared get, and as soon as she heard the lion's roar, she threw down the bowl of meat and she ran back to home. And the next night she snuck out again to the house with a bowl of meat and went out into the desert. And this time she got a little closer to the pile of rocks where she knew the lion lived, and as soon as she heard the lion's roar, she threw down the bowl and ran back home. And every single night she got a little closer and a little closer and a little closer. And finally, after many weeks, one night she made it all the way up to the rocks where she could actually see the lion up close. She put the bowl down and she slowly went away. And the following night, she placed the bowl down, she stood there, and she waited for the lion to come to it. And when the lion came, she reached over while he was eating, snipped one of his whiskers, thanked him, and ran up the mountain to the hermit's house. And when she got there, she said, "I brought you the whisker of the living lion, now you can make me my potion." And the hermit was sitting in front of his fire, and he took the whisker from her, and he looked at it, and he goes, "My goodness, you have." And he tossed it in the fire. And she's like, "What have you done? That was the whisker that I needed for the potion, and it's taken me months and months to get the trust of this lion, and finally I did it, and you just tossed it away." And he said back to her, "Can the love and the trust of a child be harder to obtain than it was the love and the trust of that lion? Go home and think about what you've accomplished." And so the woman returned home and slowly, with love and with patience, won the trust and love of her stepson. Our modern culture, particularly our Western modern culture, promises us magic potions all the time. All the way from weight loss to love, healing, to wealth, you name it, there is some quick potion, formula, some quick thing we can do to make those things happen for us. And as a result of that, we have gotten less and less good at setting a goal, taking steps towards it, using patience, and accomplishing the things that we want to accomplish in life. So pretend for a minute that you're the woman in the story, and you're not wanting to win over the love of your stepson, but you're wanting something. Some dream, some desire, some goal, something that seems unattainable. What does it take to make it happen? Not a magic potion, but steps and patience and clear direction and focus and never giving up. And just like we don't like being uncomfortable, and this is so great because we're talking about being uncomfortable today. And most of us, it's very easy to make sure we're not. For most of us, we can just go turn up the thermostat, we can turn down the thermostat. We can do, we have all these adjustments to our lives. We live in a space that most of us have created, and we have the comfy chairs and the comfy this and the pretty pictures, and all of it is for our comfort and enjoyment. And we want everything else in our lives to come as effortless as what that was that we created. Because in this country, it's fairly effortless to create that for ourselves. For almost everyone can manage some degree of that comfort level. Not as easy for many of us, or most of us, to accomplish the other things we want to accomplish in life. Because I want you to be honest, how patient are you about your life and about achieving your goals and about making changes? And how often do you give up because it's been too hard already, seems too hopeless already, it's been too much problem already? And this is one of the things that I love about the Buddhist tradition, and that I've loved about the last few weeks, is the idea of never giving up. Buddhist people don't go for a year or two and have something not realized and say, you know, I'm finished with this. What they say is, wow, I just haven't gotten there yet. Because there's no judgment about not getting there. There's no promise they will ever get there. There's none of the expectation that we lay on ourselves and on everything else that's happening in our world. They just simply are on the journey, on the path, on the journey. Never give up. Keep on going. Don't shame yourself along the way. Be honest with yourself and just keep going. Because there aren't any quick fixes in life. Which reminded me of duct tape. And all of the ways in which we make duct tape a magic potion in our lives. But it isn't something we can use to fix ourselves up. But if it was, you would see us going around. You know, I'm not saying for sure that maybe some of us couldn't occasionally put it, but, you know, yeah, lift. I have used duct tape to hem something really fast. Yeah, but honestly, that didn't really change my whole attitude or journey in life. It was just, you know, it just made something a little easier. And that is really this thing about this, the Buddhist path. It's just, you just keep on going. So we're in the last of our series, and honestly, it was a small book. I didn't bring it today. It's a small book, and it's been 5 weeks, and I left out like 4 chapters in this small book about other things that are, you know, part of this fearless living journey. And so this is the last, and it's been based on Pema Children's book called The Places That Scare Us. And I love it because I feel like it's the thing that I have felt most like we don't want to do, like sweating, you know, is that we don't want to even see, feel, or experience or acknowledge our dark side, or any of the thoughts that we have that aren't positive, or any of the actions, and we don't even tell the truth about the actions. You know, we lie to ourselves even about who we are and what we're thinking and what we're doing and how we feel about it. And you know, and it seems like that this discomfort all the way to enlightenment is backwards. And then I started thinking, yeah, but so didn't everything that Jesus said seem backwards to us too. So somehow we've created a world in which maybe we've gotten our priorities mixed up. Maybe we've been too sort of dead on the comfort path. Maybe we've been taken over by fear too much. I mean, something, because the fact that we don't want to live with what isn't comfortable just speaks to the idea that we really don't want a full experience of life, because discomfort is just the other part of the experience, and our attachment to it is where all the pain comes. So the everyday Buddhist practice is simply to develop a complete acceptance and openness to all situations and emotions, and to all people, experiencing everything totally without mental reservations or blockages, so that no one ever withdraws or centralizes into oneself. So basically it's the okay to everything. Okay, that's okay. Okay, I don't care. It's okay. And you know, that can make some people mad. And they can think that you're blowing them off, or they can think that you don't care, or that you're being aloof, or smartass, or whatever. And the truth of it is, you really have just gotten to that place where, okay, that's what you think, that's what you think, that's what you feel, that's what you do, and okay, I'm not going to fight about it. I don't care.
Bless all the paths our feet walk to be